We're here with Canton City Treasurer Kim Perez, and Kim's been working real hard to help City of Canton finances, cuts that are coming down from Columbus. And tonight at council meeting where Canton City Council voted unanimously by voice vote opposing amended Senate Bill 5, which is really billed as a collection process, but according to figures given by various council members tonight and to the Deputy Treasurer, going to cost Canton $750,000. Now, your Chief Deputy explained a process that was very technical, so we're asking Treasurer Perez to explain in layman's language exactly what his chief deputy had to say tonight.
Basically, what he was trying to say was this should be a neutral-friendly bill, and it wasn't. It actually affects our funds coming into the city, just like they did with undivided local government fund, they did with everything else, inheritance funds and everything else. They've taken millions from the local governments and they placed it right on the back of local governments and the taxpayers to come up with their own revenues. This bill even goes further. It's more of a business-friendly bill than it is a public-friendly bill. It's going to prevent us from taxing what we've been taxing over the years in order to keep our revenue stable so we can still operate and maintain our police, fire, and our service. What the state's trying to do, and they've been nickel and diming us to death, but when they took the undivided local government fund, and when you hear this governor on television saying when he took office they were broke and he's balanced this budget, he's only balanced this budget on the back of local communities, libraries, and schools. We are paying the bills as local people. We're paying in our levies. We're paying it on everything that we do. This local level has to come back to the taxpayers in order to retrieve that money, in order just to maintain where we're at with the police, fire, and service workers. Your potholes are there because we're half the crew what we used to be. Crime's rising, but we have less policemen. Fire departments, everything has been affected by this, and they're standing there taking credit for doing such a great job as they press these issues back to the local levels, and they're kind of playing a shell game. Where's the money? How's it gone? And everybody's losing it. We really need to look at the state and what they've done and really need to just delve into it and as a community come up and uprise, because it's our state reps that are voting for this, and those are the state reps that we need to discuss. Say, listen, you can't continue to do this to us. You're going to destroy the cities, bankrupt the cities. Pretty soon we'll all be like Detroit. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Okay,
and when you say our state representative, you're putting names to that. Scott Olslager,
Schuring,
chairman of the Finance Committee in the Senate. Schuring's state rep, has been a state senator.
Schlesnik. Any state rep that represents.
Christina Hagan.
Yes, anybody that represents Stark County area. You know, in order for counties to survive, they got to have a strong central government, and usually that's the capital of the county, and that would be Canton.
Right.
It doesn't do Stark County any good if your biggest city in your county is not doing what everybody else is doing. And the more you take away at it, the more you chip away at it, the weaker your county becomes. So if that's what we want, then we don't say anything. But as long as I'm treasurer, I'm going to come out, and when I see these things, I'm going to at least attack them and bring them to everybody's attention and let them know that something's not right here.
Okay. And Law Director Martuccio, if I understood his remarks before council tonight, suggested that maybe this is an attempt to basically eliminate local government and all the direction comes from Columbus?
You know, if you look at what they're doing, when you bankrupt someone, Columbus takes over. I mean,
you couldn't disagree with that.
I can't disagree with them because I see what they're doing. They want to have the power from Columbus where they don't have to take their action from the local. All they have to do is just sit in Columbus and do their votes. I've not seen a lot of people in Columbus raising hell with them. But they are at council meetings, and they're at villages, and they're at township meetings, raising heck about fire levies, police levies, road levies, and everything else, school levies, library levies, and everything else that they've made us put on the ballots in order to stay solvent.
You think this is going to collect to really get focused on the people from Columbus? You know, I used the term walking in, getting in their face, and I didn't mean it in terms of any kind of physicality, but you understand, just jawbone them.
I truly believe if we really, really care about our communities, we need to be vocal, we need to be united, and we need to tell Columbus enough is enough.
Okay. Now, you just mentioned earlier off camera that you had met with Senator Olslager recently. When was that?
It was last week or the week before with the Ohio Municipal League and Finance Director of North Canton and the Finance Director of Massillon. And we just met with him just to explain what this bill could do to our cities and what effect it would have. And, you know, Scott, being a senator that he's been for many, many years and a state rep, he is taking his time. They've been trying to push us through, and he's holding it back. So we're going to get our chance in Columbus to speak. But we need to bring the public with us. The only way we're going to stop this is for the public to stand behind us and say enough's enough. Without the public, it means nothing.
Right. As I understood your results of your conversation with Senator Olslager, he doesn't think anything's going to happen on Senate bill before the November election?
Correct. I think it'll happen in a lame duck session, and and we'll see where it goes.
And so Kim Perez is going to work to marshal the citizens of Stark County and government leaders, local government leaders, to bring pressure to bear on state legislature to hear us.
I actually would like to start a finance committee of villages and everybody in Stark County so we can start looking at all the legislative issues coming down so we can speak as a whole to what effect it could have on local government. And I don't think there's a township association out there that wants to see cities not survive, because the devastating effects with the jobs and everything else would affect their townships too. So I think what I would really like to do is try to start Stark County finance team made up of the fiscal officers and be able to really get into the legislation that they're doing and then put numbers to not just Canton, but to North Canton, to the villages, to Brewster, to everybody, so we can all really analyze what these bills are doing and what damage they have already done to us.
When you talked to Senator Olslager, you heard Alan Shulman tonight, President of Council, talk about how every council meeting there's an invitation that goes out to the Stark County delegation to the Ohio General Assembly to come to Canton City Council and explain. Did you get a chance to broach that topic with Senator Olslager? Why can't he come to Canton and explain to the citizens of Canton what the Ohio General Assembly is doing to local government?
I've never mentioned that. I mean, we had our own meeting for our own purpose.
I see.
And I wasn't going to hit him from the side. I mean,
maybe that's coming somewhere. Right?
I think, you know, Alan's doing his job, council's doing their job, they're sending resolutions, they've asked for the meetings. I think the only way they come is if the public demands it. And I think, once again, I'm not asking for an uprising. I'm asking for people, if you're tired of paying all these increasing taxes locally, the only way this can happen is to start speaking your mind and focusing it where it needs to be focused. The focus doesn't have to be here in Canton, Ohio, or on your commissioners, on your local. It needs to be where they're taking the money from us. So far, have they taken, I think that resolution is like $4 million a year from us. Well, $4 million a year is a substantial amount of money from the city of Canton. So when you look at that $4 million, you look at our police, fire, and service workers and our chuck holes and everything else, that should tell you that those cuts have played an important role in what's going on with the city of Canton today.
Okay, well, thank you, Kim Perez, Treasurer of the City of Canton.
All right, thank you.